Good morning, Damian Power, Texas Power Outdoors. Quick segment on what a purge is. I was asked by a couple of guys on a really good forum on Facebook, the LBJ Grassland Hunters. Those guys do a phenomenal job. And a couple of guys approached me after I posted a deer, a field to table picture segment on their forum. And they were really interested to see and understand what purging is. Wildlife biologist Joshua Sears brought me his deer last night, and we deboned it, but I wanted to save a front shoulder to show you the difference of the purging. He's had it on ice for about 6 days in the quarters. They were quartered out. He left the carcass whole, took the front shoulders off, and then both hams attached and sawed off at the base of the spine. Left it in an ice bath, rotated the ice every day, drained it, rotated, drained it, rotated. And what that does is, if you don't have access to a walk-in cooler per se, if you want to stay out on the lease, like in his case, he had a 120 quart cooler, you know. So he was like, he didn't want to go back into town so far and so out of the way. I mean, the town was 60 miles down the road. Very, very difficult. So he goes, "What do we do, D?" I said, "Man, let's purge it out." That's what he does. Put it in there. What that does, if you can look, I don't know if you can bring that in a little closer to see how pink the meat has become. This is venison. This is 4.5-year-old buck, mature buck for that area. I've got it sitting right back there. I don't know if you can see it on that table, bleaching out, doing a Euro mount for him as well. But the idea is to not have much water in it, and mainly just the ice. And it'll slowly draw that blood out. Venison meat is so full of blood that can actually ruin a lot of people's taste for it, etc. You know how you go, and a lot of these processors, man, they're cutting it, putting the glands and all in it, glands that reside in between the muscle fibers, in between. I'm not talking about musk glands on their heels. They're not doing that. Of course, those already should be removed in the field. Number one tip from a pro. Okay, from this bone, we cube it out. We're going to do a 2-day purge after we've cubed it out. You can see how red the meat still is, full of blood. And the idea is to get as much of that blood out as I can. From that point moving on, I will take it, put it in whatever spices you like, marinade, etc., for about 4 days, and then throw it through a grinder. And when that grinder, it just turns all bright red again. See, by the time you are actually about to put this in a grinder, it won't even look like venison. The meat will appear gray, but that's only because the outer part of what's touched the ice has drained out. Okay, it's my opinion. It's what works for me, and a really accredited biologist approves of this whole tactic, and that's why he's bringing me his deer now. Anyways, my 2 cents. Texas Power Outdoors, Damian Power here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the questions. If you have any more things to ask, please feel free.